Hello, and welcome to the Toolcrib's first in a series of free videos. This video, we're just going to be quickly exploring some contour rendering in Mentalray. You can download the scene from our server, or you can use any scene that you want. I'm just going to go over the scene really quickly and make sure that we basically get all on the same page. I've got a camera here. I have set it to an 80mm lens. There'll be a reason for that. That'll be in other lessons. That'll become more clear as to why we've done that. And I've set my resolution to 960 540. Under the render options here, I'm going to click off Enable Default Light. You'll notice that the device aspect ratio with a 16:9 setup is going to be 1.778. That needs to be reflected in your camera here under the film aspect ratio. Maya has some convenient ways of ignoring that, but that number should always be set correctly. Sometimes it doesn't affect your render until you'll add in an image plane or try to do some compositing stuff, and that can come back and bite you pretty hard. Okay, so we've got that, right? Just also under Settings, Preferences, Plugin Manager, we want to make sure that we have Mentalray loaded, and indeed on my system it's set to load automatically. And that's really about it. You obviously need to have some objects in your scene. I chose 3 different objects for this. I've got a NURBS, which will need to have a approximation applied to it. So let's just open up the approximation editor here, and under NURBS tessellation I'm going to hit create. It's very simple. Again, we've also got a sub D vase here that has not had any approximations applied to it. So just again in the editor, I'm just going to click where it says derive from Maya. I'm going to hit create. Now it should render correctly. On the cube that I've made here, it's just a cube with some extruded faces. The only thing that I'm going to really do here right now is I am going to come up here and I got to be in the polygon menu rather, and under the polygon menu here under normals, I'm going to set normal angle, and I'm going to set it down to 0 so that they're all very hard angles. We could actually set it to 89, which basically means that any angle until you hit the breaking point of 90 would be soft shaded. So we're going to actually do that, and we're just going to hit apply and close. There we go. Our normals, our edge hardness has been set. Again, we can just come back up here, delete all by type history, so we start with a clean scene. I'm going to save this as another name, just with some incremental changes there. So I hit save. I want to save it as an MA file personally. And there we go. We're ready to start. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to assign 3 different materials. So go into your Hypershade, and we're just going to be using Lamberts. So let's just make 3 of those for right now. Lambert 2. Let's make that white and apply that to the psych. Let's just make this one red. You'll notice that I assigned it to the vase. And actually, you know what? I'm going to change this one to a Fong. And again, that'll become clearer why in a second. I'm going to apply that to the vase. Okay, I think that I'm probably up here on use default material. There we go. You can see my materials now. And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to assign this one to Lambert 4 just by dragging on there. Show you a few different ways of assigning some surface materials in case you don't know. And I'm just going to pump that up to some kind of blue, light type of blue that I like. That's that. So let's hit save. Okay. Now you'll notice, because I turned off that default headlight creation that Maya will sometimes do, that the first thing that we're going to do right now is we're going to add in just a directional light. Okay, you can leave it at the center. Sometimes I like to move it around just so I can kind of get a better idea of where it is. You can scale it up so we can see kind of what's going on here. And just kind of move it out of the way a little bit. Okay. so I can see it a little bit better. It's kind of the angle that I want it at. Really doesn't matter where you place it, really. Okay. So let's go back. The one thing that I also want to do for this light is I'm just going to enable some shadows. Use ray trace shadows. Let's set the light angle to 1. Yeah, that's pretty much all we need right now. Yeah, let's set those shadow rays to 4 for now. Okay. Smooth shade all. Okay. Now let's come up here to our render options. Under the quality section here, I'm going to keep this low, but not quite that low because I want to get some interactive renders going on here. This should go pretty quickly. We've got our indirect lighting tab. We're not getting into that at all right now. Yeah, this will work a little bit better for us, I think. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I'm just going to select this surface. I'm going to hit Control A to bring up its the attribute editor for it, and under Render Stats, I'm going to turn off double-sided, okay, and then I'm going to come back to the Surfaces menu, and I'm just going to go Edit Surfaces, Reverse Surface Direction. That way, if we move the camera outside of the box or the light, it'll pass through there, and it won't really affect our renders. So let's come back to camera stills. Okay, let's just snap off a real quick render. Yeah, that's looking a little bit more like what I want to get right now. I'm going to just add in, shoot a little bit of another light coming from this direction, just to kind of soften that hardness. Or what we can do, if we wanted, is just turn on a little bit of Final Gather. So actually, let's just do that real quick. Let's pump that down to 50 so that our quality is pretty low, because we want these renders to be going pretty fast. Okay, so here we are. We've got our render. We've got a little bit of color bleed. It's not brightening that up quite as much as I would like, so I am going to just come in there and add another quick directional light. So just come here, directional light. I'm going to shoot it from this side. Okay. Pull it up just a little tiny bit. And hit Control A to go into its editor. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give this a little bit of color temperature right now just by plugging it into the blues. I'm going to set that to a real low value, like a 0.2. Okay, I'm going to come back up here, select that light, go into its attribute editor, and I'm just going to warm that up just to, again, just a real small amount of light in there, light color rather. Okay. The other thing that I want to do real quickly, so that we always render to the correct camera, under Common, I'm going to scroll down, and under Renderable Camera, I'm just going to set it to Camera Still. There we go. I am going to turn that on because I always do render out depth passes. I'm going to come back to the render, and let's just snap off a real quick render, and I'll be back when it's done.